Hello and welcome to a Sporto Academy HCR tutorial. Along the bottom of the video, you can take advantage of the menu options, or by placing your mouse along the timeline, you can jump to different chapters within the video. In this video, you will learn how to create a clinic, how to use the advanced features, how to manage a clinic, and how to run reports. Some things to consider when you're creating a clinic are: do you want to have any optional items for purchase? What is your target audience? Do you want to open a clinic to members outside of your branch region? Do you want to set up the clinic as private registration or public? In this tutorial, I will create a mandatory clinic item during the creation of my clinic, but you can also do this ahead of time by going to the catalog menu and selecting clinic items. For information on how to set up clinic items from the catalog menu, you can click the Help for the user guide, or there's a link to the tutorial and I will show you how to go through the process. One important point that I want you to remember: attendee type. If you're going to select an attendee type, the participant must have a member type on their profile in the current season in order to register for your clinic. Remember, member type gets reset every season. To get a member type, a participant needs to have a registration in that current season, be rostered to a team, or complete a clinic. If your target audience is taking the clinic to receive that member type, please leave the attendee type blank. To create a new clinic, we're going to go to the Manage menu and click Clinics. Click on Create Clinic from the right-hand side. You'll notice that I have a pop-up window here. If I have a clinic that I've already started creating but not completed, I can click on Create or Continue Clinic. I'm going to choose Create New Clinic for this example. In step 1 of creating a clinic, the first thing you'll do is set your host organization. By default, it will display the organization that you're logged in as. You can type in the organization where you would like to host the branch, or you can use View Tree to pick your association. Next, you're going to enter some clinic info. Choose between if this qualification is an official qualification from Hockey Canada, or if the qualification or course is one that is set up from the branch organization. Next, you will pick a category for your clinic. The options are specialty skills, instructor, coach, general, official, or trainer safety. You'll notice that these are color-coded to help identify the category type. For this demonstration, I'm going to pick coach. You will notice now that I've picked a category, my qualifications is no longer grayed out. Select a category from the drop-down. Next, I'm going to enter a name for my clinic. A suggested name will be in gray, but you can always type over it and choose your own name. If your region uses Moodle to house their clinic information, use the drop-down to select a Moodle course. The next thing to set up is the expiration. Decide whether or not your qualification has no expiry, a fixed period, or fixed date. If we choose to have the qualification set with a fixed period, you would choose the duration. In this example, I chose 1 year. Let's say the clinic was completed May 1st, 2023. In this example, the qualification would expire May 1st, 2024. If I want to set it up using fixed date, again, I select my duration and I enter a date for my qualification to expire on. In this example, let's say the clinic was completed on August 1st, 2023. The expiry for the qualification would be on May 30th, 2025, even though it's prior to the 2-year duration. Next, we will look at the prerequisites. This is optional. If you would like to set it up, click on Add a Group. From the drop-down, I can start typing in the qualification that the participant must have in order to sign up for this clinic. In this example, I'm going to choose Respect in Sport and Speak Out. Next, I'm going to choose whether I want all those qualifications to be mandatory or if the participant needs to have at least one in order to sign up. If needed, I can click on Add a Group to add additional qualifications. In this example, I'm going to choose Gender Identity course, and I'm going to set it up as it's mandatory in order to register for this clinic. If I would like to remove a prerequisite that I've set up, I can click on the Delete button. Our next item to set up is the attendees. If you would like to set up an attendee type, you can do so by using the drop-down and selecting from the options, bench staff, coach, official, player, etc. Remember, if you do want to use this, they do have to have a member type, which is equal to attendee type, on their profile prior to registering for this clinic. Remember, member type gets reset every single season. So, if they have not registered in the current season, have not been rostered to a team, or have not completed a clinic, they will not have a member type on their profile. Next, we can add in, as an option, a minimum number to run our clinic and a maximum number. We can also add in the minimum age and the maximum age. You can set it to have a wait list, and you can check that the member must have a valid background check on file in order to register for the clinic. Note, in this example, I set my age requirements up to 16. 16 and 17-year-olds will not require a background check in order to register for this clinic. The last item in step 1 is to add a description to your clinic. You can copy and paste by using Ctrl-C or Ctrl-V, as the mouse does not work. You can also use the function keys, or you can link it to your own website. When you're finished writing your description, click Next. In step 2, we will set up our contact, our instructor, and the details for our session. If you would like to add yourself as a contact person and the instructor, you can do so by clicking the links. Or you can add a new contact or an instructor by clicking into the box. Let's set up a new contact. Click the link. You can enter the first name, last name, and date of birth, or you can put in the HCR number and click Search. From the search results, click Select. Enter any information that is missing, such as phone number. You can set the information to be visible to the public, or you can hide all the information. You can also check to add them as an instructor and to be notified for new registrations. Then click Add. If you would like to make any edits or remove a person that's a contact or instructor, you can do so by clicking on the box and the side panel will open. From the actions, click Delete. To add an instructor, let's click in the box. Again, search for first name, last name, or HCR number. Select the member. Enter any information. Select the visibility, and then click Add. If this member does not have a My Account, it will ask you to create one. Click on Create New Account. You will be able to enter the information. Enter the email address. Select your language and click Create. Click Link. Next, you can set whether the instructor has ability to update clinic attendee information through their My Account. Click Submit. Then click Close. The last item in step 2 of creating your clinic is to add session details. Click on Add a Session. Choose whether your clinic will be in person online live, or online recorded. Set your language. If it is online, you're going to add your URL next. For this example, mine is in person, so I'm going to set a location. Enter the name of the location, and then select the address. Next, add a date for your session and a time for it to start. Enter the length in hours and minutes. You can add a note if you want to copy and paste. Control-C or Control-V as the mouse does not work. There's function keys, and you can link it as well. Then click Add. If your clinic has more than one part, you can add a second session by clicking Add Session. Once all your information has been put in, click Next. In step 3 of creating a clinic, we will add our communications, add the terms and conditions. If you have any questionnaires that you've created, you can add it now. If you have any waivers, select from the drop-down. Next, we will add a confirmation message. Again, if you want to copy and paste, it's Control-C, Control-V, as the mouse does not work. Type in your message. You can add a document. This document will be available from the confirmation pop-up window. Next, add a confirmation email. Enter in your text. Again, Control-C, Control-V. You can add a document. This attachment will be emailed to the member. Once complete, you can click Next. In step 4, we will add our clinic items and set up our methods of payments. Click on Add Clinic Item. You can use the drop-down if you already have some set up, or you can create a new one. Click on Create. You have to have at least one mandatory item, so click on Mandatory. Enter a name for the clinic item. You can add a description. You can also make it taxable. I'm going to set this one up at $0. If I have a merchant account set up, I can select it now so I can accept credit card payments. Choose any other method of payments and then click Next. Step 5 is to review the information I've added to my clinic. If I need to make any changes, I can click on the Edit button. After reviewing all the information, scroll down to the bottom and I can click on Create Clinic. Now that we've created our clinic, let's talk about some additional options that we have. You'll notice that the clinic will always be in draft mode at the beginning. Click to change the clinic status. Visible to public means that people will be able to see that there's a clinic, but they're not able yet to register. Next, we have registration open, means it is accepting registrations. Closed, we are no longer accepting registrations. If a clinic is in private, it means you have to have the link in order to register. And our final status is canceled. Our next menu option is to view the clinic. Click on the shopping cart and your clinic will open so you can see what it looks like to public. Next is our link to copy the URL so that you can send it out to people. The one on the far right is to delete. Please note you can only delete if there is nobody registered to your clinic. Next is the gear sign. This takes us to our advanced settings. You can add rules in the advanced settings for when the status will automatically change. Set the date and a time. If you want to, you can add additional rules. So maybe I want to set it so it automatically opens the registration. And finally, I'm going to have it set to automatically close on a certain day and add the time. If I want to open the registration to members outside of my organization, I can click the tree and I can add additional MHAs or additional regions. Then click Close. Click Save. In this section of the tutorial, we're going to look at the management of attendees. Click on the Attendees tab. You have filter options for paid or not paid, attendee status, or past status. By clicking on the member, you can open the side panel and you'll have options. From the side panel, you can mark them as attended or past. Click the blue pencil, change the status. Let's mark this person as past. You can click on the Member tab to view additional information on the participant, or the Questionnaire tab to view answers if you had a questionnaire. From the Action button, you can certify a member by clicking Certify. From the pop-up window, you can give it a certification number. You can set an expiry date. Click Confirm. Also from the Action button, I can credit the invoice. This removes any outstanding balance. I can also resend the invoice, resend an invoice with receipt, send a communication, or open in Quick View. Now let's look at how to manually register a member for your clinic. Click on Add. You can search by first name, last name, or date of birth, or HCR number. Click Search. From the results, pick the member you want to register. In this example, this member is not qualified because they do not have the prerequisites. Once they complete all the necessary courses, you can register them. You can see that this clinic has now reached its maximum attendees. If anyone else registers, they will now be placed on the waiting list. You can manage the waitlist by clicking the Waitlist tab. Click on the user so the side panel opens, and from the Action button, you can accept them as an attendee or you can cancel the registration. Now let's look at how we transfer a member to a different clinic. Click on their line so the side panel opens, and from the Action button, I'm going to click on Transfer Clinic. Click Next. Choose the clinic I want to change it to. Click Next. Choose my method of payment and click Next. To run a report for your clinics, click on the Reports menu. Click on the dashboard, and you can start typing in clinics. Choose Attendee. You're able to select your period, select the qualification category, select your qualification, pick a clinic. The other filters that are available are start and end date, attendee start and end, past start and end, certified start and end, attendee status, gender identity, or birth date. Click Search. If you would like to export your report, click on the Action button and click Excel. Before we end this tutorial on clinics, there's a couple things I would like you to remember. If you're going to select an attendee type, the participant must have a member type on their profile in the current season in order to register for your clinic. Remember, member type gets reset every season. To get a member type, a participant needs to register for the season, be rostered to a team, or complete a clinic. If your target audience is taking the clinic in order to receive that member type, please leave this blank. If you update a clinic, making a change to the prerequisites, or add or remove the background check required option, anyone that is currently registered to the clinic will not be validated against the new requirements. Only registrations that come in after this change will need to meet the new requirements.